Hey everyone, and welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I'm your host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish minute review. First, I have to thank you because as of this recording, I have hit over 800 subscribers. So we're getting close to that 1,000. I want you to know how thankful I am for that. I appreciate your loyalty and your feedback. And I got to tell you, you're not supposed to look at the bad stuff, but bad comments are still comments, right? Which helps the algorithm. But somebody wrote worst review ever. That was it. It was for the film Pizza. So I put something underneath. I'm always trying to do better. Why was it so bad? Now those are few and far between, but I still think you have to address those, right? I'm getting through my list, and it's moving along swimmingly. And this film, this was an interesting one. It was recommended by at Sudalaimuthi 3312. Sudalaimuthi 3312. I Please forgive me if I'm not saying that right. I'm going to call you Shadal for now, okay? Easier. The film he recommended was 2024's Black. And I think that's an appropriate title because this kind of reminded me, I don't know if you watch Black Mirror or The Twilight Zone. It really had that kind of flavor to it. It's directed by KG Balasubramani. No, wait a minute. Balasubramani. Balasubramani. KG Balasubramani. The cast stars Jiiva, who I've seen in '83, Priya Bhavani Shankar, Yog JP, Swayam Siddha, and Shah Ra. And the only other person I've seen is Vivek Prasanna, who was in Vikram Vedha, Surare Potru. So this was an unknown cast to me pretty much, and it is a Tamil film. Okay, so the story. How am I going to explain this? The story is about, well, it starts off in 1964, my birth year, by the way. That's right. I just celebrated my 61st birthday at the end of January. And I know you out there going, no way. No way. The camera makes you look so much younger and it adds about 30 pounds. But anyway, so it starts in 1964 where there's a couple and another guy. I think it's actually the guy's brother or the girl's brother. I'm not sure which. I got a little confused about that. So they go to this house, and apparently the driver's in love with the girl, but he finds out she's pregnant, and they're going to get married, even though the parents don't want them to. So they go in the house. He stays in the car. He decides he's going to kill them. He goes in to kill them. Or actually, he's out in the car and he hears a gunshot. He goes in and they're dead. That's how it starts. And there's also a scene with a statue of an angel that falls out of a cart and they can't move it. Okay. And then the story is now we come to the present where a young couple, and it's Vasanth and Aranya, have bought a new house in this I think it was called Paradise, this condo complex right on the water. So they decide to go before the place really opens up for everybody, and they're going to move in early. So they move in, and they're the only ones in this entire complex. And that's where the fun begins. Now we start experiencing deja vu, alternate realities, the multiverse, black holes, some kind of moon thing that's going on. And it's how they get out of this, for lack of a better word, time loop, because that's ultimately what ends up happening. They're in a time loop. So they're in this community and they're the only ones there, yet there's another house across the street with lights on, and they go to look at it and it's them. A different time period them. And that's the film. And they're trying to figure out how to get out of this place once they figure out the time loop, time space continuum. That's what I mean. It's very Twilight Zone, very Black Mirror. And there's even like the lights in the complex, like the walkways. There's one spot that's black, hence the name. And when you go through that, you end up in an alternate timeline. Now, Marvel tried this. The DC universe tried this. It does get confusing because it just happened. Now, it's all tied back to 1964, and the guy's name is Mano, and he comes into play later on in the film, and he understands what's going on because now apparently he's done all kinds of research on this phenomenon that happened the same time in 1964 with the moon and the time loops and all that other stuff. So that's the story. So I'm going to give the story a 3. It was confusing, and there isn't really a whole lot of explanation of what's happening. Okay. Um, and the performances, the two leads, because this really is, for a majority of the film, it's just them, different versions of them, but them. And they're, in the beginning, there's an affair, a supposed affair. That's the other thing about this film. They show you a conversation in one timeline, and then in the other timeline, you get more of the conversation, and you find out more information. And there's even some flashbacks too, where the affair really wasn't an affair. But anyhow, they go from being in love into this new beautiful place right on the water to slowly, starting to get scared. First they think it's supernatural. Then they come to the realization that they are interacting with themselves. So the tension builds, builds, builds. Then at one point, it appears like Aranya is dead, killed by him, and that's another timeline. And then cops get involved. But I thought the performances were great. I mean, I thought those two, especially him, his frustration, and there's even some action scenes too that he's pretty good in. But they're, the realization of what's happening and the how do we get out of this? The frustration, the realization that they're not going to be able to get out of this. I really thought they were excellent, and Mono was good too. But it was there was nobody really in it that much other than those two. That's why I thought they were really good and carried it really well. So I'm going to give the performances a 4 in this. Now there was music. There wasn't much, but there was music. The first song is in a dance club, right? So it's not some extraneous dance number for no reason. They were in a club. They were dancing. Other than that, there's one song, the second song, where it's a very cute seduction scene, very innocent seduction scene. But the song is like a whistling song. It was actually kind of catchy. And then the rest is the incidental music, and it is some freaky, like this pulsing music. And there's something that happens with the moon, like it almost sounds like an electromagnetic pulse. But there's a pulse that happens. They block their ears. They go, "What is that?" That's supposed to be like a wormhole or black hole or a time loop opening. But the music kind of mirrored that. It was very pulsating, and it really added to their realization of what was happening and their desperation to get out. So I'm going to give the music a 4 for that reason. But it was mostly incidental, but I thought it was really well done. So my verdict for this one, that I have to say, okay, here's how I feel about this movie. It was confusing why things were happening. There was also a little side plot where they had ketamine, They introduce ketamine at the beginning. And if you put it in a drink, couple of drops, you'll go, but I think someone passed out for a couple of days. Excuse me. So, and then in this place they're staying, there's a little vial of ketamine. So, of course, that's a red herring. They're trying to make you think that he took the ketamine and he's hallucinating all of this. So they throw like that at you. Um, and then, of course, when he sees that she's on the floor, you think she's dead. Well, maybe she was in the other timeline. Just stuff like that. It was confusing. Um, but I will say that I really enjoyed it, even though I was confused. I like, okay, how are they going to tie this up? What is this? What's actually happening to it? And of course, there's a twist at the end. They get separated. She thinks he's lost in a different timeline. He thinks she's lost in a different timeline. They get together at the end. They get out of there. And then he comes to realization that she's a different Aranya from a different timeline. Because some of the stuff that happened to them hasn't happened to her. So there's a little twist thrown at it. So the question is, does he stay with this one, who's not really the one he went in with? So I'm going to give this movie a 4. I love time travel movies. I love science fiction elements, and there's definitely a science fiction element. But it's a film that, even though I was confused, and I was, it once they got into that place and everything started happening, I really liked it. It really had me. And I wanted to know what was going to happen. And I want to know how they're going to get out of it. Were they going to get out of it? So overall, I give it a 4. So that's my verdict for that one. So Sudal, what do you think? Really interesting. It was not a long movie either, so it was an easy watch. But yeah, I like that little Black Mirror Twilight Zone vibe it had. So let me know what you think if you've seen it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you haven't seen it, I just spoiled the heck out of it. So now you don't have to see it. I would still see it though. I don't think it matters because that's how good I thought it was. So let me know what you think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you understand all of it? Because I sure didn't. And if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and as always, share. 1,000 is the next big goal. I'm going to need your help to do that, and that means sharing it, okay? That's when things really start to happen on YouTube. Okay, so that's it. That's my 10ish-minute review on Black. So, okay, we'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with either a 10ish-minute trailer reaction or a 10ish-minute review. But wait, the secret word today is Red Sox. Red Sox. REDSOX. So if you stay till the end, put the word Red Sox in the comment section. That's right. Baseball is just around the corner. Thanks for watching, Ramon. We'll talk to you soon.